So are you ready to PR yourself? We'll remove the mystery from all things PR, and we'll discuss everything from our top strategies to tips and tricks and everything that you can utilize to further enhance your brand or your message. I've been in media, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a publicist. I am Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, and your host for PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I must say, you guys made season 1 a hit, and it made me so happy to hear from so many of you guys via email, direct message on how you're going to PR yourself better, especially as we move into 2021. So thank you so much for all the kind words, and for all of you guys that are leaning in and putting in the work. This podcast is for you. So for those of you who are looking for a little bit extra oomph for your businesses and for your brands, I have something for you. Be sure to always visit pryourselfwithleahfrazier.com. Make sure you're signed up for our email list where I send out episode recaps. I'm going to send out when I'm doing webinars, when I'm going to be live. I'm going to send out when we're offering our next live course. So be sure to sign up for that email list, pryourselfwithleahfrazier.com, and never miss an update. That way you can PR yourself better and just do bigger and better things as we move into 2021. Also, exciting news. My book, PR Yourself, will be coming in 2021. So be sure to go to pryourselfbook.com and sign up again for that email list. You're not going to want to miss when pre-sales drop. You're going to want to be the first to get this book in your hand. And I'm not kidding you guys. I was on the phone yesterday with an organization that's going to have me do a workshop in June, and they have already pre-ordered 50 copies. The manuscript is not even turned in yet, and they have pre-ordered their 50, and you're going to want to get yours too. So pryourselfbook.com. And lastly, if you're like, Leah, you know what? I need that hands-on training with you every single month, whether it's marketing, whether it's PR. Hey guys, I have something super affordable for you. You're going to want to go to think3media.com/think3edu, and you're going to sign up for our subscription service. It's only $49 a month, you guys. And what you get is one live, you heard it right, one live session with me on a marketing or hot PR topic of the month. And then you're also going to get a mastermind session with other business and brands that are just like you, where maybe you're stuck on an issue. What we do when we mastermind together, we help you to get unstuck so that for those next 30 days before you go into the next month where we do another session, you can work on that item and take your business or your brand from one level to the next. That's what it's there for. So go to think3media.com/think3edu and sign up for our subscription service. That way you're always learning on how to market yourself better and how to PR yourself better as we move into 2021. And without further ado, enjoy this latest episode and stay tuned. All right, and welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I think this is just a news week, or maybe a news season. Because it is, all of my favorite news personalities are coming in. I don't even want to know why they want to sit in on my little podcast, but that's fine.
Because you're Leah Frazier.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. This is recorded, so I'm going to send that soundbite out. Just in case anybody disses me, I'm going to be like, Laura Harris from NBC says, because you should do it because it's Leah Frazier.
With a little jingle.
With a little jingle. That jingle, I will let them know.
Just saying.
So she already gave herself away. We have the Laura Harris from NBC in the studio today. Yay!
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for finally coming.
Oh, you're welcome. I know.
Not that you're busy or anything.
No, it's just been crazy.
It's been crazy.
It's 2020. Like, I feel like I've used the word crazy, unprecedented, insane, not sure what's going on the entire year.
And pivot. The one that I hate the most.
Because that's what everyone's doing. We have to pivot.
And we're still going to be pivoting. What's another word for pivot that we can just throw in there?
Can I just turn around and go home? That's
swiveling.
What I wanted to do. Oh, that's like I'm doing in this chair.
We're swiveling. We're swiveling into 2021.
I like that. You should put that on shirts, because once you put it on a shirt, it's gold.
I'm not pivoting. I'm swiveling.
Look at that. Sell it.
Let me get out
with
the
a
mic.
hashtag. sell
I will
that.
split profits with you.
I'm okay with
I'll
that.
send you that agreement.
I am
It's fun.
okay with that.
Oh my gosh. So how are you doing?
I'm good.
You're good?
You know, like I told people all this year, I said, I'm healthy. My family's healthy. What else can we ask for right now?
Right.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But you're busy in the news world. Y'all just got out of elections.
Yeah.
And not really, because you got to get ready for January.
You got to get ready for January.
Right.
And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, how elections start to get really, really ramped up for most people who are on the outside looking in. But I mean, we're getting ready for elections the whole year because we know it's going to happen. It's kind of like getting ready for an Olympics. You know, every year when it's going to happen. I don't know if anybody thought it was going to happen the way that it did. Because it's technically still not over.
I'm only laughing because I did not think there was going to be any finality once all of the Electoral College votes came in. I didn't think that it was just going to be this peaceful, I'm going to concede.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that, but I definitely didn't think we'd be where we are today.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to be honest with you. I'm learning a lot about the process because, I mean, in our lifetime, we've never been this far. I mean, you could talk about, you know, I guess that was, gosh, Leah, I can't even get my years right now. But Al Gore and W, you know, when they were trying to figure out exactly what was going on with that. I mean, it came down to one state. Everything happened the way it did. It shook out. All right, this is the next president. But now we're still trying to figure things out. I think as early as today, there's still some things happening. So we'll just have to wait to see.
Do you think it could be like when we were kids growing up where, okay, we're going to make little Timmy happy. Let's just give Timmy a trophy. We know Timmy did not come in first place.
Yeah, but you know,
Timmy and your parents go away. Here's your honorable mention trophy.
I will say this though. I will play this part of it. Think of it this way. I'm thankful to see that the process is playing out the way it's supposed to. Because no matter who your candidate was, I'm just using an example. If in 2044 your candidate is on the other side of this and they want to take it all the way to the end, you want to make sure that your candidate would be heard as well. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I always say to people, no matter what side of the fence you're on right now, because it seems like nobody's straddling the fence, everybody's on different sides, you would like for your candidate to get every benefit to make sure that all the votes were counted. Underscoring this with, there has been no evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election. No evidence. I mean, that's even from people who are Republicans who are running elections in these states. No evidence of that. You still would want your candidate to be heard.
Right.
So
there's that.
Let it play out.
And hey, kiddos, and all of you adults who didn't pay attention in school. And for me, like, government was my least favorite class. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Price, if you listen to anything, because my high school government teacher still follows me.
Well,
we didn't really get this deep into the process. I even went to law school. We had constitutional law.
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah, that's your first year of law school. You have to take con law. And I love the class, but as you move on, you find those areas that you're just that's a little bit more sexier. Like, I liked criminal law. So I just kind of brain dumped all the con law stuff and absorbed all of my criminal law. And then we're in Texas, so I needed to know oil and gas.
Right.
So I absorbed that and kind of brain dumped the con law stuff. So here we are. And I'm just like you, relearning our government as it feels like for the 30th time.
Yeah.
And learning new things that I feel like, where is Schoolhouse Rock when you need it?
When bill becomes a law and the little thing is like dancing on the steps.
Exactly. Like, can we just recirculate that for 2020?
I'm telling you. And just in a year where everybody was just kind of like, all of our brains are kind of fried with everything.
Yeah.
And then November came and we had to process that as well. I just think people are just kind of sitting there with their eyes just like, okay.
Right. Well, even with that, there was other things that happened news-wise. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. I mean, I could go all the way down, right? We get this resurgence of Black Lives Matter, all of the protests. So you guys probably were on call for all of that around the city. But I always like to ask how it affects people personally, because you're in news. You're a lovely Black woman representing us. But I do understand, just by being a member of NABJ myself, that there are challenges that Black women and women in media have to face. Let's just talk about first, what is it like? Do you feel like at times it's hard to be Laura Harris, or does Laura Harris get to bring 100% of herself to the table every day?
No, I wouldn't say. I like to be my authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, in any situation in life, when do you bring 100% of yourself, right?
I try. It doesn't work.
Right. So if you're like at a dinner party, like I wouldn't say things at a dinner party with my parents that I would say at a restaurant with you,
Right.
or, some people who we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of feel like the same thing goes for what we're dealing with right now. I think it's important to be authentic. It's important to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I work in an industry where my opinion does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
I work in
How
facts.
is that though? Do you have to internalize so much and you're like, fact check, fact check, fact check. I have to be completely unbiased. I just deliver the news as it is. And then most of us have outlets where, now some of y'all do too much on social media.
The absolute
okay?
most.
Some
Stop
things
doing
need,
the most.
you need to take a Laura Harris approach and just keep it in your head.
Wow.
But so a lot of you guys have to internalize probably your opinions, or do you have outlets or ways you can get that out?
I work out every day.
I do notice that. Y'all, her abs are like...
Stop. I work out every day.
I know.
And I mean, even when I'm like right now, I'm just really exhausted. But I have to do it because if I don't, I'll go to sleep tonight and all I'll be thinking about is everything that happened during the day. And I mean, it's hard not to feel personally victimized when people are sending you emails or Facebook messages. I got a message one day when just after George Floyd's death, and then there were the protest, and peaceful protests, mind you, because I don't like when people paint all this with the same brush.
It's not.
It's like everybody was rioting. Everybody was not rioting. Fact check. Everybody was not rioting. Mm-hmm. And also a fact check. Most people will tell you within their cities that there were people coming from outside these cities that were destroying cities. Mm-hmm. So that's that.
And word on the street was that in some of these, specifically in Dallas, before the peaceful protests, there were bricks already pre-laid by some of the businesses that apparently was caught on tape, that you could see that it was kind of premeditated, so to speak.
So, I mean, you can say whatever you want to say, but, I had someone send me a message and she said to me, "What evidence do you have that there's voter suppression?" There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that in 2020. And I simply just sent her 3 or 4 articles from NBC News that showed all of these different examples of voter suppression. Stacey Abrams would be no one if there wasn't voter suppression. That was what she ran on. That's what she talked about. And the bottom line is, when you see what happened in Georgia and these counties that were not blue turning blue, you know that something happened. There was some sort of tidal wave that changed the way that people were thinking, whatever they may have felt. I need to vote this time. Whatever it was, something happened. And so that said, I think people need to really come outside of yourself for a moment, because I have to do it every day. There are times where I really feel passionate about something, but Leah, we all know we might feel passionate about something that's still not right. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's things in this life that I feel and I believe, but at the end of the day, I sit here and I say, okay, well, I probably should go apologize for what I just said. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that people need to be a little bit more empathetic, a lot more empathetic. It's hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, especially if you didn't grow up where they grew up, if you don't look like them, if you don't talk like them. But I think we would be a lot better off if people would just take a breath and stop thinking that everything is so personal and just think about what someone's saying.
Oh, you sound like somebody very close to me that tells me this all the
Your
time.
mama?
The reason why you feel the way you do is because you personally know so-and-so, or you're personally attached to the situation. But Leah, I know if you would just extract that one little piece, you would be able to see things more levelly. And
So,
and I hate that you are validating
Well, I'm just saying,
this person, Laura. It's not
you,
what I brought you here for.
you gotta live your life, but at the same time, I always just sit and I think, what would I want from someone else? And all of us just want to be understood. That's what we want. I don't care who you are. You can say you don't, whatever. Everybody, especially adults, want to be understood. So if I explain something to you and you look at me like I've got a third eye, now I'm looking at you like you have a third eye, because why don't you get that, Leah? I just explained it to you in plain English.
It's simple.
It's simple. And so that's the part where I think, especially in 2020, we have somehow found this disconnect. Mm-hmm. It's always been there. There's always been this fracture. But now there's this big spotlight on it. Some people want to act like it's not true. Mm-hmm. Some people know it's true. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, I don't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that something's not right, but I just don't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. If all those people could just come together in one space, think of what that would look like.
Yeah. Man. I know. It's tough.
It's really tough, especially when you think of it like that. You know, I just, something that hit me, I was just recently reading the book Cast that has just been everywhere.
I just ordered that.
Oh my gosh, Leah. Well, I'm not going to ruin it for you or your listeners, but there is a line in there that I will never forget. And Isabel Wilkerson puts this so eloquently. She says, you know, when people ask the question, why do Black people, African Americans, why do they talk about being oppressed, even in 2020? Mm-hmm. Well, think of it this way. Even this year in 2020, African Americans have been enslaved people longer than they've been free. Mm-hmm. And that will not change until the year 2111.
Wow.
I don't care who you are. Think about that. Enslaved longer than we've been free. That will give anybody pause. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I read that line and I dropped the book. I said, I need a minute, because that can't be true. Oh, wait, once again, it is true. Mm-hmm. This is a fact. It is in a history book. It's a fact.
Right.
And I think all that came to a head this year. George Floyd was the point where everybody had just become done.
Yeah.
Just undone.
It's like we're sick of it.
Yeah, and there were so many names before that. I mean, so many names before that.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys remember Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
I mean, that was how many years ago?
We did a big almost like fashion as a form of protest event with Charles Smith, a designer here at the Jefferson Memorial. And at the end of, it was like this big freedom fashion show. Mm-hmm. We had speakers. And at the end, we did a display projected on the side of the building, all the names. And just that part alone in running that film took so long because of all the names over the course of time, the ones that may not have had a voice, you know, that people didn't really know about, that weren't really publicized in the news. Like, it was a lot to soak in, and it was devastating, but it's real.
It's real. Know? And I will say, you know, because I always try to give positivity to something, you have to feel encouraged by what we saw in those months afterwards, because these peaceful protests were people of all shades, all races, different places, people who all came together and said, that's not right. We're going to say something about it. You know, It was not just, you know, you look back on MLK and people like that. And when you looked at those pictures, most of the people in the pictures were Black people. Mm-hmm. But that has totally changed. And that in itself gave me so much hope.
And it's progress.
It's progress. You have to look for progress. As long as we're not staying in the same place and we're getting better every day, I think that is what we have to look forward, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Right. And one of the things that I think has been one of the most positive movements that I've seen, not cancel culture.
No.
But from a publicist perspective and what I've seen locally, especially from our news partners, is definitely you guys. I feel like the community stories, the more positive pieces of how we can support our community in the wake of just so much negativity has just been on like 10.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys have community conversations. You were already doing Tell Me Something Good. But I even feel like just the outpouring of support of Black owned businesses, where it's like, how can we band together, you know, media and community in the wake of just tragedy to uplift one another? So what has that been like as far as being an anchor and working in news to say, you know, we're going to push out more of this content? And maybe it was already there, but I feel like I'm just seeing more of it across the board in Dallas.
Yeah. And just for me, it's been an educational process because, you know, as an adult, the one thing that you want to continue to do is learn. That's what my parents used to teach us. They were like, even when you get out of school, you want to make sure you continue to learn something. And that's what I've learned in all of this. I mean, when I first moved to Dallas, and people will laugh at me to this day, I moved here 2 years ago, but I ate nothing but chain restaurants. And finally, somebody pulled me aside and said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, you know, I'm going to this chain. You know, they're like, do you realize how many local restaurants are in this one tiny, like just Dallas? We're not counting Fort Worth and Grand Prairie and Denton County and Collin County, Plano, you know, just this where you live. There are 10 restaurants that are locally owned. Why are you not supporting one of them? Education, right? Because the city I came from, it wasn't really a lot of that. There were a lot of restaurants, but there were a lot of chains. So when you come here and it's like more restaurants per capita than people who live next door to you,
Right.
that for me was an education. And the same thing with Black owned businesses. Unfortunately, you don't know unless you look for them.
Right.
So now we've got this network of people who are giving us information. And like you said, just waking up to something good. I think in this life, even before the year 2020, it's important to wake up with a grateful heart. So how can you do that if you're not thinking about something positive?
Right.
So that's our mission. I mean, we have to give you the news, and of course we give you the hard news, but at the same time, understanding that there are so many good things happening. And what really gives me this feeling of just amazing joy, oftentimes they're kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have one to send you. I was like waiting for the right moment. You're going to love this guy. I'm not going to talk about it right now because
they're the cutest though.
The kitty entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Listen. Oh my God. They're amazing.
And don't slow. It's one, you know, when we were kids, because we're about the same age, when we were kids, sometimes kids were just super shy. They didn't want to say anything.
I know they want to be on camera.
Kids,
Let me tell you about my business.
I have an Instagram page. I'm like, how old are you? I'm 9. Okay, sounds good.
I'm
Tell
going
me
live
about
on
it.
YouTube.
I know. I'm like, well, show me what you're doing because you have more followers than I do.
That is so funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you look at it like that, you just have to make sure that you're taking, you know, silver linings these days are more important than ever before. And I just hold on to that.
Well, I know you guys, and you in particular, you probably get slammed, right? Because we were just talking about how you even got here, and you probably got a wealth of, you should go here, you should eat here, you should go there. I feel like there was this one point in Dallas where there was all these lists circulating around because everybody was trying to provide that information. Like, okay, if we're going to do local or Black owned, here's where you should go. Yeah. But it's like, it doesn't help me if you put 200 restaurants on one list. So from your perspective in media, like, how do you weed out, you know, a story that says, okay, we're going to give more coverage to this particular topic. How does this person stand out in the 200 on the list that somebody's giving you to say, hey, Laura, cover this now in your local or whatever, your Black owned business or whatever you were thinking about doing?
Yeah, I'm just going to speak for myself on this one, but less is more. I get emails. I can't tell you how many emails I get a day. But there's one thing that I notice. First of all, if they spell my name wrong, I don't even read it.
They spell Laura wrong?
Yeah. I usually get Lura.
What?
Luara. Because they're just going so fast. And I get it.
Luara.
Yeah. It's almost like it's, you know, like when
it's European.
When I went to Cuba, I was Laura. And I get that. But for whatever reason. So that's the first thing. If my name is spelled wrong, I don't even read it. Then 2. Like, there will be all this text. They're telling me everything that's ever happened dating back to 1996. And it's not that it's not important. Everybody's story is important. But if I'm at work for 12 hours, 3.5 of those hours are on the air. So the rest of those hours, I'm writing web stories, doing interviews, and now we're doing everything virtually. So you're setting up Zoom calls, you're talking to people on the phone. I want to tell the story, but you got to tell me what the story is right up top. So what I've started doing is, if I see a heading that I like, but there's just too much information, Leah, like that 200 list, you know what I'll do? I'll call you. I pick up the phone and I say, listen, I did this just the other day. I said, listen to me. I don't remember her name, but she sent me this long, and I could tell it was a really cool story, but I didn't have time to read the email. I picked up the phone and called her. I said, I know this is a very archaic way to approach you, but I got your email. Sounds like a really cool idea. Give me 3 sentences to explain what this email is about. And she did it on the spot. And I'm like, exactly. Great.
That.
Let's do the story.
From here on out, do that.
That should be SOP from now on.
Yeah.
But I think that people get caught up, which I used to do this. Like if somebody asked you, like, tell me about your life.
Oh, God, I hate that
Oh, well,
question.
when I was 5 years old, my mom made me memorize the Gettysburg Address, which is true. She did. To this day, ask Regina why that was the case. I'm not sure. But she did. And I still know it to this day because she made me memorize it. But it's like people care, but they don't care to waste their time. So they want to know the important highlights. What makes you you? In 3 sentences, you could tell me how you got to this point.
Yeah.
Anybody can.
Yeah.
That's
I think
what
too,
people got to do.
Not also taking into consideration, one, you get hundreds of emails, right?
Lots of
so
emails.
even within those 9 hours you speak of, you talked about earlier how, okay, I had to respond back to one that was asking about voter suppression, and you had to go pull NBC sources.
Yeah.
That's one email.
Yeah.
You can't do that for the 500 that you get.
Right.
And 2, you guys are running your own social. That's part of it too. So you're doing social media, like you said, writing web stories. I don't think people even know that you guys do that. They probably think, for some of you guys, they think it's a totally different department.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not only are they on air, they're actually writing a little blip or an article that recaps the segment too. That's not easy to do.
And you're giving yourself to each story. So I know for me, especially the ones that are really weighty, like that it takes a bit out of me at that moment. So I just have to kind of sit there and process that. I mean, with COVID and these numbers, it's so easy for that to become white noise. But if you just sat and you thought each one of those numbers is somebody who died, they had a family, they had kids, they worked with people who loved them. You know what I mean? And so when you think of it that way, it's like every story we tell has to take just a little bit of us to be able to tell it.
Right.
And so I think that, again, people are doing the best they can right now. They're doing the best they can. But at some point, we got to stop saying, I'm doing the best I can, and just give people quality and not quantity.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, Laura, you're jacking me up here today because, okay, I don't know if anybody is like being Mary Jane fans.
Oh, I love it.
So remember that very first episode out the gate where she was like that single girl that wrote on all the Post-its and put it all over her house? So
why are you trying to be in my house?
I'm just saying, COVID-19, I was kind of feeling it too. I'm a go-getter. Very go. I have my dreams, my goals. And then there was just one day where one of my peers in the business circle was just on my butt. And I said, I'm doing the best I can given the circumstances. So I went in my bathroom under all my affirmations and wrote with my little dry erase marker, like, it's okay, Leah, you're doing the best you can.
It's the best you can.
And so I'm like, let me scratch that out. Laura said, that's cool, but quality over quantity, Leah. So I'm going to change it, and I'm going to put your name by it.
But you know, it's
on
not
my
just
mirror.
that though. I loved that show, by the way, but I think it's more like we just have to understand that a bad day lasts 24 hours. So we're all running and gunning. I mean, I don't have children. I'm not married. I can't imagine what it's like to have all of that weight on you as well. So you're making sure that your spouse is okay, your kids are okay. They're either working from home, doing school from home. I cannot imagine what that's like. But I also think that everybody, especially people who are listening to this podcast, you have to say to yourself, my circumstances are my circumstances. And it is okay for me to feel this way about my life. You know, I think this year I've heard a lot of people saying, I just feel guilty for being sad about this that happened to me when other people are having so much more happening to them, you know. And you shouldn't belittle yourself. Like, accept the fact that you've got things going on. Who doesn't have things going on? But for you to sit in it and wallow in it, it just brings the whole thing down.
Yeah.
You know, I start every morning and I say, you're going to have a great day on purpose. Because I feel like if you start super, super high, even when something bad happens, it just brings you down a couple rungs.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Instead of starting the day melancholy or underneath that. And then, I mean, I got a nail in my tire driving to work yesterday.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if to the person throwing nails on 35, you got to stop that.
That's not the person. That's the whole city of Dallas construction department that have been rebuilding 35 since 1900.
That nail caught me the second it happened. The light came on and I'm like, oh goodness.
Oh, no.
Got to work. Thank God for getting me there safely. Okay. Went and took the car after work. Got it all taken care of. But I say that to say, if I had started my morning, which starts at 1:30, if I had started at 1:30, angry, upset, I don't want to go to work, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, that nail would have sent me over the edge. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But because I started the day so far up, I'm like, God, just get me to work.
Yeah.
And I made it there.
Cool. Positive thinking.
Positive thinking.
With Laura Harris, NBC. No, but I think this was like, this always happens. I bring y'all in and it takes a totally different direction. That's fine. Let me just discard all my notes. It's fine.
Oh, man.
It's fine. Because we're already at time, but it's okay because I think this was very important to hit on. Just like mental space, just how to approach you guys as media. We've hit on so many different topics, but I love ending it on that positive note because we are about to enter into 2021. Yeah. And people still wake up with those hopes, those dreams. The listeners are small business owners that want to connect with you guys, right? So being able to impart to them on just how to view their day. And I always say, too, when it comes to pitching, I feel like even with my clients, too, they can feel my positivity and my enthusiasm with my words and that energy. Mm-hmm. So if you're down on your business and you're trying to approach a Laura, she probably can read it through the email like they don't even believe what they're saying, you know what I mean? But when I'm jacked, sometimes it's like, oh, that's a cool story, and I'll go back and I can reread it and see that like, oh, I was in a great mood that day, or like or they could feel that I was on the up and up.
Yeah, I always tell people I am not in the business of selling anything. I mean, that's what commercials are for. I don't
your advertising.
Yeah, I don't sell anything. What I do is I tell people stories. Mm-hmm. I tell people stories. And if, to your point, you're giving me a people story, but you don't even like the people story, how do I tell a story that people are going to be into?
You don't.
So
you click delete because they probably spelled your name.
They spelled my name wrong.
Laura.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
And then they called me Lee.
And I don't understand that because it's Laura.
And my name has an AH, which is and they steady call me Lee. I guess I'm unisex. It's fine. And sometimes I'm like, it's fine.
It's like, just listen, we just keep hope alive. Without hope, you've got nothing. And you just hope for a better tomorrow, a better future. Listen, we got a few weeks left, but 2020 is about to be in the books, and knock on wood, we're going. So you just got to hold on, just keep hope.
Hold on a little bit tighter. Keep hope alive.
I feel like we're about to start singing a spiritual on that note.
When she starts swaying side to side, we're in the Bible Belt. We're in Texas.
Let
my church folks know what that means. It's about to go down.
Take your time, Leah. Take your time.
All right. But I so appreciate the positive energy you brought today. This is probably like one of the most positive PR Yourself episodes we've had. So thank you so kindly for that. And support you. We want to support you. So how can we follow Laura Harris and on social? Do you have a website? What can we do?
Yeah, it's super easy. So I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of them are Laura Harris, NBC5. And you can always find all of our stories on NBCDFW.com. It's not hard. And listen, just be kind. Leah, don't tell these people to find me, and then I get the DM. I didn't like your... I wish you guys could see Leah's face.
Because people will throw my name out there, but they don't know. Y'all will text me and be like, "Who is this person?" I'll be like, "I don't know them. They just follow me on social."
Because they follow you on social. But yes, that's how people can find me. Laura Harris, NBC5.
Yes, and I will say she does a lot of the positive affirmations and quotes and things on Twitter. I've actually retweeted a couple in the last couple of days. So it's been good. It's been good, especially when you're having a bad day.
I know. Well, I appreciate you having me here. This has made my day even better.
Yay. Well, we're going to have you back because I am planning a PR pitch, just a mock pitch thing for small businesses where they actually get to talk to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And some of my other publicist buddies, because we all think differently, where it's almost Shark Tank style, where you're good pitch, no, bad pitch. Yeah, your press release sucks. However you want to do it.
Just start it with spelling my name right.
If you want Laura's check of approval, just spell it Laura. It's not that hard. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. If you have episode suggestions, please email me, leah@think3media.com, or follow us on Instagram, PR Yourself Podcast. I've been getting all of your DMs, and we'll bring on all of your favorite news anchors, magazine editors, whoever you want. Send it to me. And until next time.